Hi everyone, this is Diane. Thank you for visiting me in my pretty pink cottage today. I appreciate you dropping by. Today we're going to take a look through this Garden Girls journal, and this one is named Cherry because this is the Cherry Girl. And it's on a red book cover. And on the back we have the Tomato Girl. And I love the patchwork around her. This is such a beautiful digital kit from Cotton and Twig on Etsy, and I will link the kit below. I covered the spine with fabric. I've created a new spine with 2 inches of chipboard. Reinforced it with Tyvek and added fabric on the inside and outside. Added some lace trim and put a ring on it with a brad. This has a brad on it, and added a tassel. So it just has some different fibers, a strip of muslin, etc. I will be sending some extras with this journal. Oh, and I should tell you, I can't list it at 6 p.m. tonight because I won't be home. So I'm going to list it at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, which will be Monday when you see this. Monday, September 11th. At 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Cherry will be in my Etsy shop. The other journal that I created, if you were watching, you know that I was making 2, and this is one I'm going to keep. I did get a Happy Mail from Pears, and I showed that, and remember, there were these little tiny linen pieces. I don't know what they came from. She found them at a flea market, and it has a D and an H intertwined or overlapped. So she sent them to me. I think there were 3 of them. And so I glued it right there to my cover. So I claimed this journal. But if you want, well, maybe at the end of this video, I'll go through this one too. But I will be sending some extra pieces, some cutoffs from the papers that I used, some coffee dyed and some not. 2 seed packets. Another little girl from Cotton and Twig. And I believe these are Faith Girls, these little cutout girls. There's Faith Girl scripture cards and then Faith Girl paper dolls, I think they're called. Some images from the gardening book. And a dandelion dictionary definition. And a blue jay dictionary definition with this cutout blue jay. And this sticker. All of these will come with the journal. I tied it with this kind of a wide sheer red ribbon. It's really pretty on it. And inside we have paper and then fabric. I think I pretty much just used the Cotton and Twig digitals in this. But I had these 1971 I think it's Good Housekeeping encyclopedias of gardening that my friend Val gave me. And I cut out a lot of the beautiful vintage looking photos and used a lot of them in here. Now the journaling kit features fruits and vegetables with these little garden girls, but I included flowers in the pockets and tags and things that I made, as well as a few fruits and vegetables. I coffee dyed some scrapbook paper. And I used this gorgeous vintage lace on this front page. One of my favorites. Got it at a flea market. I made this tag in a video with some stamping in the background and a little stenciling and the little Faith Girl. And this tag itself is vintage. And I stamped the back of it with the corrugated cardboard. You see I used some of the corrugated cardboard stamping on some of the pages also. This one was just very, I didn't press down fully on it. I just wanted it to be a little bit here and there to be kind of a a little bit of a guide for you to use for writing. And the papers that I dyed, I used plastic doilies on them as they dried. Here's another of the girls. I don't know which one she is. She has poppies here, but I'm pretty sure they're all fruits and vegetables. So when we get to the flip side, we'll see what her basket of produce is. And I got some fringe recently at the flea market, so I used 3 different fringes. one for each signature. I printed some lined paper on the backs of the digitals. This is an onion skin type of paper, or a tracing paper. It was a vintage notebook full of this paper, and it has the number stamped on it in the corner. There's some dyed plain paper, and I stamped this one more fully with the lines and border punched it. A guest book page, and here is a vintage graph paper that I recently got at the flea market just a couple weeks ago, and I added this long flashcard and I sewed on this large-ish fabric triangle and glued a yo-yo on it, and I just paper clipped it. And this is a book I got at the flea market recently. A lot of the things I used in here were recent acquisitions from flea markets. So this was a book with not a whole lot of pages, but I used some of the nice bird pages in it and a playing card. I stamped a pear here on this dyed paper. And this was some seam binding, but it was wide and it was creased, folded over and creased in the middle, so I just wrapped it around the edge of the page. There's the Strawberry Girl, so we have her basket here, and the girl will be on the other side of the page. And there's a grid there for you to write on. I made some fabric flips, one for each signature, and this fabric, this trim up here is a handmade crochet vintage. I sprayed some doilies with some spray inks. I have these two small ledger pages that aren't vintage. This is it's a cardstock poster size print that my friend Val gave me, and I just cut them down so that they would fit into the book. They were, poster size, and they have foxing on them, which I think is cool. And on the back of this one, I glued one of the garden book images and one of the paper dolls. It's not a pocket or anything, it's just decorative. You could write something up there. And I added a piece of doily here. So I'm giving you another of the girls. If you wanted to do a little collage on this side of the page, you could. Of course, there are 3 of these pages. I think I only did this to 1. I just ran out of time. This has been a really crazy busy week, and I have a busy week ahead of me too. This is a rosette trim here on the netting. And there is the Strawberry Girl. I love her little jumper. There's a dandelion up here. It says Make a Wish. Another bird page. And I paper clipped a little craft bag pocket. You could decorate that, put something in there. And I put a little cut off piece of embossed cardstock there as a decoration on the edge of the page. Now this side is a tiny little 2x2 pocket with the flap glued down to the page, and I decorated this on camera. And this has a vintage cigarette card in it with Icelandic poppies. I had a really beautiful little orange Icelandic poppy in my perennial garden back when I had a perennial garden. It was much smaller than the poppies that we usually have around in our area. This is a handkerchief. I used a different handkerchief to put a pocket in each of the signatures, and I liked the colors of this one for this book because a lot of the things are summery, like the strawberry, but the coloring of the pages is more fall-like, like the patchwork around. It's like early fall. So and since it's autumn now, it's approaching autumn. It is September. I wanted to have some autumn elements in there. Put a little lace up there. Here is a postcard for a puppy, or a buttercup, I guess. It's in French, so I don't know. And I collaged on this alteration card. It has a bluebird, some blue mulberry paper, blue hydrangea, and blue seam binding. And I put some vintage ephemera in here also. There's an index card with some braille typing, I guess it was. It embossed it. And this is a calendar page from 1948. And it has someone's note on the back. Radishes. This is radishes. Maybe I just see flowers in her basket, but she's the Radish Girl. There's some more doilies. I like the way that looks with the copy dyeing and the doily pattern and then the faintly stamped lines. I think that looks cool. I embossed this card with butterflies on a flowering branch. Just rubbed some ink over it. This was the flyleaf of one of the encyclopedias, the gardening encyclopedias. They were quite large books, so I was able to get 2 of these tags from one flyleaf, and I added this digital little tab on the top and did a collage on the guest check. I love these cosmos. I was trying to remember the name of them when I made this tag and I couldn't remember. And I said I didn't like them. I had them in my garden. And I said I didn't like them, but what I meant was I love this. But what I meant was I didn't like the stems because and the leaves were very, very, I don't know. They're just skinny and they were prickly. The stems were prickly and they were sticky. So I didn't like having that flower in my garden, although I love blossoms. This is a piece of dyed doily and just a digital piece there. I wrapped the doily around. Second signature has these beautiful daisies on cardstock and another vintage ephemera piece, 1938 tax receipt. You can write on the back if you want to. And this it's not vintage, it's a card from a Stampin' Up! Kit. And this pulls out, you can write on that. You can write here, then you can add things to it to write on. I don't know this girl either, but look at her pretty boots. With that little pattern, and then this brown fringe. And from a tablet of weekly planner pages. It's got a green border and a little hummingbird there. Looks like some Queen Anne's lace. And another grid paper that I got at the flea market. It's a different one. I got them from the same vendor, but it has this at the top of it thing to fill out, which I thought was really cool. Another bird page with a needlepoint flower. Oh, I sewed that on upside down. The bowl is up there. And here's a jar that I stamped with some wildflowers or weeds in it. And here's Peaches. This is Peaches. She's on the cover of mine. But she's on the other side of this page. Another fabric flip features some fruit and some flowers and a piece of vintage trim at the top. So here's another of the poster things, and I didn't do anything to that. So you can do some collaging or stamping or glue whatever you want to there. Added another piece of crochet there. More rosettes. Yep, there she is, Peaches. I sewed a strip of fabric here and added this brown and white Anna Griffin ephemera piece there. At least I didn't sew that girl upside down. There's a little pocket here with a cigarette cardigan. Now this does look like poppies. No, maybe not. It says Geum. I don't know what that is. And here's another handkerchief with daisies. Isn't that pretty, with the orange or the yellow crochet around the edge? And I added this blue eyelet up here and added one of the Faith Girls. And here is the tomato page that went with this. And a pea seed packet, vintage seed packet, so you can put something inside that. This went back here. These were really fun to make. I kept wanting to add more. There's some pears. So this girl, I said I didn't know who she was. She's the pear girl. I did another embossed cardstock with a bird and some weeds, and it says, "Don't forget to fly." And I added this card from the gardening book. I put it on coffee dyed paper, and I made a little eyelet there. I added an eyelet there. I knew I had more finishing to do on these, but like I said, it has just been so crazy. I've been going from one thing to another, and I haven't really had time to do the finishing touches. I'm going to put a bulb pin in here. I needed to get this video made so I'd have it ready for tomorrow morning. So there's a bulb pin, and I don't know if I'll add something else to it or let you add something. Depends on how time goes today. It's already after 4 o'clock. Here is a Snapdragon seed packet and the front cover of a booklet of fruit jar markers for canning from the Utica Trust and Deposit Company, Ithaca, New York. The third signature has this beautiful image from the gardening books on a bright blue cardstock that I punched. And this one has a seed envelope from Target from years ago. I put a sticker on it, and I put a dyed index card in here, coffee dyed. Looks pretty grungy. Has space for you to write. And this is a page from a 1946 calendar. I don't remember why I added paper up here, but for some reason I did. But you can write on that. I did it on both of those calendar sheets. Oh, let me see. Here it is. Might be because I had to tear it off of that. Well, I don't know. I don't know why I had to add that paper, but I felt like I did, so I did. Look at this pretty, whoops, popped right away. Pretty lace. It is so pretty. This girl is the carrot girl, so I put a picture of carrots here from the gardening book and another jar of weeds. Some more fringe. So each signature has a different fringe. This has a little digital envelope that I've had in my stash for a long time. It's a seed packet for Canterbury Bells. It's empty. You can put something in it. There's a blackberry stamp up there. And a daisy. This is one of those starched ribbons. Daisy and gingham. Sweet peas, basket of peas. and a fabric flip. This has pretty little flowers on it. More pears. A few of these posters had apples, but most of them had pears. I forgot to close my craft room door, so you've been hearing the air conditioner just shut off. This one is the Pears. Strawberry stamp there. And the third handkerchief. I put some vintage rickrack on it. And this paper came from a vintage notebook. It's right here. Came from this old notebook that somebody carried in their pocket. It's a calendar, actually. And probably an appointment book from 1946, and it's pretty much mostly written on, but there were a couple blank pages in the back. And this is a cutoff piece from one of the scrapbook papers that I used. And another collaged alterations tag. Has a dictionary definition of a bee and a piece of butterfly ephemera and this little image that came from a vintage magazine. There's the carrot basket. And another embossed pocket with a black and white image from the gardening books and a tab. And this is a piece from an Edith Holden book. I just added some coffee dyed paper to the back and did a little bit of a cluster of fabric. I sewed this little flower button on it. I love it. And this also needs a bulb pin. This came from the seed book and it has apples. The picture was big enough I could cut it in half and use the other part in my journal. And then this is the basket of cherries that goes with her. It's the other side of her page. On the back cover, I put a pocket, library pocket, and I stamped the blackberries with blackberry ink and put a blackberry dictionary definition on it. And I put these, I think they're Canterbury bells too, or something similar. Now, aren't the colors so pretty? And a crochet doily there. And I will put my signature on here. I wanted to add these two pieces if possible. This is it's not a flash card, it doesn't have anything on the back, but a learning to read card. I'll tuck that in here. And this is the cover of a photo album. When you printed pictures, sometimes you would get your pictures in a booklet like this. Okay, and I will put this here for a book plate. Maybe I'll back it with some cardstock in a darker color. And that should complete the book unless I decide to add something to those bulb pins. Let me quickly show you my journal. I used green fabric to coordinate with her, and slightly different colors in the tassel, and blueberries on the back, and of course my little monogram linen piece. I love this paper that's on the inside. Looks like wallpaper. And I have 2 of these printed, so I can use them both. She's lemons. Tomatoes. I had this vintage piece very bent up, and it was in danger of breaking on the folds where all the folds were. So I used it in here, and I put this Faith Girl behind it and over it, just so I would have a place to put that. I didn't want to lose that vintage frame piece. There's the Tomato Girl. Peaches up here. There's another digital seed packet with foxglove. I love foxgloves. I had them in my garden too. I liked anything that made me think of an English garden. English cottage garden. This one is a dahlia, I think. Yeah, that's a dahlia. I used to have dahlias too. Apple blossom and apple. This one is a tax statement on a card. It's just addressed to Nicholas. I don't know the last name. Sugarloaf, Pennsylvania. That's the full address. Another Braille card. I only had 2 of them. And a collaged tag. There's the lemons. 4 o'clocks, I think, are those flowers. And then the other piece of the flyleaf. I have Lily of the Valley here. I used to have them growing by my front porch. I didn't plant them. They were already there when I bought the house. And then there were some growing along the side of my house on the other house that we had. The one that I sold after my husband died. And I love the fragrance. You would, at least I would, smell the fragrance before I noticed that the flowers were there. So I thought this was a beautiful piece to include in my journal. This is another one of those seed packets, but I didn't put the card inside, I forgot. And another 1946 calendar page. I think this one is the Peas again. We saw her in the other book. Some more plainish pages. This is a music book, The Pony, and I liked this image. Strawberries. Cherry Trees is this song. Song in A minor. This one has a pea pot packet, oh my goodness, and the bucket of blueberries. And Edith Holden card. And a carrot. I don't have the Carrot Girl in this journal, but I do have a carrot seed packet. And the last signature has this beautiful flower. Love the vintage look of that. And the tag with the stamping and stenciling and the Faith Girl. She wasn't supposed to be in here. She was supposed to be in the other book. That's okay. Bumblebees is this song, appropriate for a garden book, and there's a seed packet of poppies. So I think maybe I mixed up two signatures because there was no music pages in the other journal and there should have been. But it's okay. We're all good. We all got the pages, the number of pages they're supposed to have, which I didn't count. Yeah, so she's on the front of the other book, that's why she's in here. And the ones that are on the front and back covers of this one should have been in the other book. And here's another side of the sheet music. This daisy bit here is a digital. Another black and white picture here, and another Edith Holden with a buttoned up cluster. There's the apple page and the peaches page. The apple page is from the gardening book. And a library pocket with peaches stamped here, and this says produce. I did not have the dictionary definition of peaches. And this pretty orange flower with some orange stenciling. So like I said, these were really fun. I think the next project is going to be a beginner project. So I'm going to go step by step on how to make the simplest kind of journal for a beginner. So if you are afraid to start making a journal, I hope that you'll watch it, and I can show you how simple it is. Just a one signature journal without a spine, without sewing in multiple signatures. And you'll see how easy it is, and then maybe you'll get, I mean, it's only paper, so you might as well try it, right? So I have a few papers pulled to use for covers, because I'll probably make a variety of them, but show you how simple it can be. And then to follow that up, there will be some videos making simple pockets and simple tags if you want to add to your beginner journal. So tell me what you think about that upcoming idea, and hopefully I'll get started on that next week. I do want to get some more stuff listed in my shop first. Some more items from the flea market. So I'll see you in the next video, whatever it may be, and I hope you are doing something creative today. Bye bye.